Charles is right on the mark. The White House is bleeding credibility as we speak, and the IRS is an entity that touches everybody and touches some more deeply than others. And there is simply no justification whatsoever. There's no defense that's even conceivable that he could make to the federal government's tax collectors making decisions for the exercise of their official powers based on the political speech of those who file documents with them. The American public will never accept that on either side of the aisle.
Now, the IG's report says that this does not go outside the IRS. The IG's report says that this was not politically motivated. Now, that's what Carney was asked about today.
That's a real stretch that it was not politically motivated. Look, if they're going to show that Media Matters was treated the same way Tea Party Patriots has been, they have an argument to be made. But the admissions by the IRS alone, Brett, without any investigation, just what they've admitted to, shows that they made decisions based upon the political expression of the people who filed documents with them. And they cannot do that under the Constitution or under federal law.
Now, Charles, it was interesting to hear the president on Monday with the British Prime Minister say, if these allegations are true, if this happened, by that point, the report is finished. Some reporters had already had parts of this leaked to them. One would think that the president's own people had a heads up at that point.
I think that is sort of part of the reason why he's coming out tonight. That was absurd. Not only had the IRS admitted it, it had already apologized. And the president is speaking of it in the conditional after the IRS had issued an apology. You know, and then Carney was up there yesterday in the afternoon in his briefing, and he's saying that if this happened, the president would be outraged. I think it's the first example in American history of subjunctive outrage on the part of a president. I mean, this is, and that's the reason all this is gathered. Obama tries to pretend that he's outside of all this, he's a spectator, he's an observer. Except, of course, if you have the killing of bin Laden, in which case he announces it with about 18 references to himself. Anything else, he's not even here. He gets it on the news, apparently. And that's what he has to undo and dispel tonight.
Meanwhile, Judge, we have these other scandals, and we call them scandals. They are getting a lot of attention as such. The Benghazi attack from September 11th, and all the attention now that is being paid to it. And now we have a document dump that we have managed to go through a number of these emails, and some astonishing emails that we've found in the 100 pages that have come out about the talking points and the formulation of them. And James Rosen has some specifics in just a moment as we wait for the president.
Right.
But also the AP and the wiretaps of the Associated Press. All of this coming together at once.
These are profoundly troubling to the American people. The tyrant is around the corner. Not my phrase, the president's phrase from the speech at Ohio State where he said, don't listen to people who tell you the tyrant is around the corner. Let me tell you, an IRS is not a tyrant, but the IRS that makes decisions based on politics is. The Justice Department is not a tyrant, but the Justice Department, disregarding the First Amendment, disregarding the federal rules of criminal procedure, is a tyrant. And the CIA and the State Department and the White House, when they lie about what happened, when they cover up the deaths of 4 American innocents, not for national security reasons, but to help the president's re-election campaign, that is tyrannical. The tyrant about which he has warned us is around the corner.
Here's what